Hi kiddos, in this video I will be reading through your chapter 18 religion test with you. So you want to make sure that you have your test out and that you are on page 18A and that your paper looks like this. Make sure you put your name and number at the top. If you need a couple minutes to get yourself together, you can pause the video, and when you're ready you can unpause, and if you're ready to go, we will begin. So the directions on this page say, complete the sentences with words from the box. So the words in the box over here, I will read through them for you. This first word says Pentecost. The second word says Ignatius. The third word says birthday. The fourth word says quiet. And the fifth word says peace. So now what you're going to do is use these words to fill in the blanks for these sentences. So I will read through the sentences and then you can take as much time as you need to figure out which words here fit into these sentences here. So the first one says, Catholics are one family that lives together in blank. All right, so we are one family. Do we live together in Pentecost, in Ignatius, in birthday, in quiet, or in peace? Catholics are one family that lives together in, choose the word from this box that you think best explains how we live together, and then write it nicely on the line. Okay? Number 2. On blank Sunday, we celebrate the blank of the church. So go through and plug in the words and see which ones make sense. On Pentecost Sunday, on Ignatius Sunday, on Birthday Sunday, on Quiet Sunday, or on Peace Sunday. And once you have your answer chosen, write it on the line. And then it says we celebrate the blank of the church. Well, what have we been learning about this chapter? Celebrating the Pentecost of the church, the Ignatius of the church, the birthday of the church, the quiet of the church, or the peace of the church. So choose the word to fill in that second line. And when you are ready, we'll move on to number 3. Number 3 says, Saint Blank took time to be blank and still. So think about it. What saint did we learn about in this chapter? Saint Pentecost, Saint Ignatius, Saint Birthday, Saint Quiet, or Saint Peace? And once you've decided the name of the saint we learned about, did he take time to be Pentecost and still, Ignatius and still, Birthday and still, Quiet and still, or Peace and still? All right, so take as much time as you need. If you need to back the video up and hear me read the sentences again, you may. And once you feel good about your answers, you can go down here. It says, write about a way that you can keep peace with others. Okay, so just in your own words, using a complete sentence, tell me a way that you can keep peace with others. And when you're done doing that, you can turn your page over. So if you want to pause right now while you write out your nice sentence, and then come back when you're ready for the other side. All right, friends, so on this side of the paper, it says circle the word that best completes the sentences. So I will read these sentences 1 through 5, and then you will choose which answer you think best fits, and you will write it nicely. Or you don't have to write it nicely. You will just circle it if you want to write it. I know Eva likes to write them on the lines too, but you don't have to. Okay, number 1 says, Pentecost Sunday celebrates the coming of blank. Now, before you answer, think about it. Pentecost Sunday. Is that the coming of God's Son? Or is that the coming of the Holy Spirit? And if you're confused, think hard. Who is God's Son? We know God's Son is Jesus. And did Jesus come on Pentecost Sunday, or did the Holy Spirit come on Pentecost Sunday? Circle your answer, and then we will move on to number 2. Number 2 says, at Pentecost, blank appeared over each person's head. All right, the first word there says flames appeared, and the second word says doves. So think about the story that we read, and we've actually talked about this story in our classroom many times before. Was it flames of fire, or was it doves, which are birds that appeared over their heads? Circle your best answer, and when you're ready for number 3, we can move on. Number 3 says, the apostles began telling blank about Jesus. Did they begin telling everyone about Jesus, or did they begin telling only their friends about Jesus? If you think they began telling everyone, circle this word, everyone. And if you think they began telling only their friends, circle this one that says only their friends. Moving on to number 4. The Holy Spirit helped the apostles blank in different languages. Did the Holy Spirit help them sing in different languages or speak, which means talk? So were the apostles able to sing in different languages or speak in different languages? Circle your answer. And number 5 says, today people all over the blank belong to the church. If you think people all over the world belong to the church, circle this one that says world. And if you think people all over the state belong to the church, circle this one that says state. All right, when you're ready to move on to the next part, we can begin. In this next part, it says, draw a line to connect the parts of each sentence. So I will read you the first part of the sentence, and then I will read all of the second parts, and you will connect to the one that you think makes the most sense, okay? You know, sometimes a couple different answers feel like they could work, but you need to choose the one that makes the most sense, all right? So number 1 says, Jesus's followers were teach other people, filled with God's love, many people in India and Japan, a sign of peace. So which one of those makes the best and most sense? Jesus's followers were teach other people. Jesus's followers were filled with God's love. Jesus's followers were many people in India and Japan. Or Jesus's followers were a sign of peace. Number 2 says, at Mass, we give one another. Now think about that. What do we give each other when we're at Mass? Teach other people, filled with God's love, many people in India and Japan, or a sign of peace. At Mass, we give one another, teach other people, filled with God's love, many people in India and Japan, a sign of peace. Number 3 says, the Spirit helped the apostles. So now let's think, what did the Holy Spirit help the apostles do? The Spirit helped the apostles teach other people. The Spirit helped the apostles filled with God's love. The Spirit helped the apostles many people in India and Japan. Or the Spirit helped the apostles a sign of peace. Choose your best answer. And that leaves us with one more, which is probably a gimme, but let's read all of them just to make sure that you've chosen the ones that make the most sense. So number 4 says, Francis Xavier baptized, teach other people. Francis Xavier baptized, filled with God's love. Francis Xavier baptized many people in India and Japan. Or Francis Xavier baptized a sign of peace. Choose the best answer, and when you are finished with both sides of this test, please take a picture of both sides and upload it to me on Class Dojo so I can see your wonderful work. Thank you so much, boys and girls.